and gentlemen, I'm Amy Sturgis, and on behalf of the Libertarian Future Society, my colleague Steve Lima and I are pleased to announce the Prometheus Awards. The Prometheus Awards were established by the Libertarian Future Society in 1979. For these past 35 years, they have been awarded to outstanding works of science fiction and fantasy that stress the importance of liberty as the foundation for peace, prosperity, progress, and justice. We have 4 honors to present tonight. For the 2014 Prometheus Award for Best Novel, we have a tie, and the tie is between Homeland by Cory Doctorow and Nexus by Ramez Nam. And it's our pleasure first to present this award to Cory Doctorow.
I'm going to speak a little longer only because the last time I won one of these I couldn't be here. So I'm with your indulgence, I'll take time and a half, if not double time. I'd like to thank the Libertarian Future Society for a third time to honor me with this extremely prestigious prize that I value very, very highly. The central question of Homeland, and I think of our time, is the question of whether technology is good or bad for us, whether it helps or hurts the cause of human progress, justice, and dignity. And I'm increasingly of the opinion that that's not the right question to ask. The right question to ask is what we can do to ensure that technology serves that purpose. The person who wrote one of the 2 afterwords of this book was a young man named Aaron Swartz, whose story you may be familiar with. He died shortly before the book came out. And you may have heard that the cause that Aaron was involved with was whether or not information wants to be free. But as it turns out, I had occasion earlier this year to go on retreat with information. We went to a cabin in the Cotswolds. We told stories about our parents. We wept. We drank oaky Chardonnay. And at the end of it, information confessed to me that it wants nothing at all except for us to stop anthropomorphizing it. But what it does, what is certainly true, is that people want to be free. And when you live in an information society, you can't be free without free information. This last year has seen the coincidence of the publication of this book and the leaks by Edward Snowden, who I think of as a hero, that went to expose the deep rot that are at the core of this book, particularly the news that the U.S. and British governments have been participating in the sabotage of the network security on which all of our individual security depends. But it's also had another parallel, one that I'm not very happy with at all, and that's been saddening and shocking those of us who kept close an eye on it. 2 days ago, I woke up in my LonCon hotel room to discover hundreds of tweets from people saying, my goodness, I didn't want to inhabit the Cory Doctorow future, #Ferguson. And if there's one thing that Ferguson has shown us, it's why we need the project to find out how technology can make us more free, why we need the work of both Aaron Swartz and Edward Snowden. The increased militarization is the result of the increased disparity in our society, the increased wealth gap and injustice gap that we've seen in our society. It is true that there is no dignity in the fact that some of us clean toilets and all of us use toilets. But if we were to figure out tomorrow how to automate our way out of cleaning toilets, it would be just as much of an indignity and an injustice if we found nothing for the people who had cleaned our toilets to do and declared them therefore worthless. So this is the project of the book, and I hope that it's the project that we can take on as a field. To automate our way out of drudgery, to use technology to organize the downfall of the establishment that sees scarcity as a feature and not a bug. It's why I wrote this book. It's why I got out of bed this morning. And I think maybe a first at a Libertarian Prize, I'd like to thank you for your solidarity and for your participation in this project. Thank you.
Present this award to Ramez Nam. Unfortunately, his plaque is held up in customs, ironically. So, in fact, that will present to him.
Thank you very much. And I will also talk briefly because this is my first time here, except in a parallel universe as the sideways authors have taught us. I learned this previously. In fact, in a parallel universe, I am Cory Doctorow, as you can see, that I have his son. It's a great honor for me to win this, and I want to thank the Libertarian Future Society, and I have a great respect for the intellectual honesty and rigor in this award, that you can see by the fact that more than half of the winners of this award in the past are probably Marxists and socialists. So at least as many Marxists and socialists have won this as libertarians in the past, which I think is a testament to the honesty of the awarders by awarding it to whatever book and author has most advanced liberty from whatever end of the political spectrum it has come. It's also an honor to share this with Corey, an author who exemplifies the use of the word to advocate for and advance freedom. I wrote Nexus because I was tremendously enthusiastic about the power of neuroscience to advance humankind through advancing the human mind and by connecting human minds together. But I also wrote it because I was concerned about the abrogation of freedom in my country and throughout developed countries in the name of the war on drugs and the war on terror. And that abrogation continues. Now, I want to be clear, and perhaps more so than Corey, I don't know, I'm an optimist. I believe that in the long run, humanity has become more free, that we have more freedom than we had generations ago, that we have more capability than we had generations ago, and that technology has played an important part of that. But that increase in freedom has not been homogeneous, it has not been continuous. There are places in the world where we are growing less free, there are certain sorts of freedoms that are being rolled back, and technology is playing a role in that. Even as technology increases the ability of people to communicate, it also makes certain sorts of abrogation of freedom, certain sorts of surveillance, and certain sorts of totalitarianism more scalable and easier to implement. And so I believe that in the long run we will find ways to use technology to enhance our freedom, but I believe it is incumbent upon all of us to strive to make that so, to not treat it as a given, but to dedicate our work and our efforts, and for those of us who are writers, our words, to making that hope become a reality. So thank you very much.
The winner of the 2014 Prometheus Award for Best Classic Fiction, that is our Hall of Fame Award, goes to the 1988 novel Falling Free by Lois McMaster Bujold. Ms. Bujold could not be with us in London, but she sent the following statement. I'd like to thank the Libertarian Futurist Society for honoring Falling Free with this award. I admit the transition from new writer Bujold to classic seems abrupt from my point of view, but such is the subjective nature of time. 1988, not that long ago in geologic terms. I'm glad the book seems to be holding up, and especially that it is still able to entertain a new generation of readers. I note that Falling Free has been a perennial nominee in this category for many years, off and on, which also says something about the virtues of persistence on your voters' parts. This seems a splendid way to retire from that space and give it over to other works that deserve notice. But a gold coin, which is on the plaque, is certainly as good as a gold watch as a retirement gift. My plaque was mailed to me earlier this summer, and a very fine object it is. Again, thank you. So, Ms. Bujold. Finally, there is a special Prometheus Award to present this year, which goes to author and filth singer Leslie Fish for the combination of her 2013 novella, Tower of Horses, which was published in The Music of Darkover, and her related filth song, The Horse Tamer's Daughter. Ms. Fish cannot be here with us tonight, but I believe she has sent a representative to accept on her behalf. Is that correct? And she too was sent her plaque.
Leslie, of course, apologizes that she can't be here, but she did give me a few words to read to you. It says, first, friends and fellow fans, I hereby accept the Prometheus Award with mixed delight and amazement. Back when I first wrote The Horse Tamer's Daughter, I could never have expected that it would have evolved so far and reached so many. I've loved the Darkover series since I read the first novel, published as an ace double, never mind how many years ago. I was fascinated with the complex history, ecology, and politics of that planet of psychics. But as the merry anarchist I was even then, I could also imagine a host of problems with a basically feudal society. Even if the aristocracy was made up of telepaths, what recourse would the common folk have against their rulers' abuses? But given the rulers' tendencies to throw their genes around, as well as their weapons, I guess that ultimately they breed their own rebellion. And thus, the seed of the ballad was born. It proved to be an epic case in the classic sense, 15 verses long with choruses. I recall that the first time I sang it at the Philip song, the first night of World Fantasy Con, Marion Zimmer Bradley commented only, "Leslie has a lovely voice," but the song was about 15 verses too long. Nevertheless, all the rest of the evening and the next day, dozens of individual fans came up to ask me to make Xerox copies of the lyrics. Later came requests to reprint them in fanzines, then to record the song, and finally write the prose version, which became the novella Tower of Horses. This is an eerie parallel, in reverse order, to, of all things, the Ballad of Tom Joad, which was written by Woody Guthrie after he saw the movie version of The Grapes of Wrath. Such strange similarities happen in the weird world of folk music, not to mention science fiction. It's been a long and fascinating journey for what is essentially a science fiction protest song. I am, as I said, amazed and delighted that it's traveled so far and stirred so many. Thank you all. Leslie Fish.
On behalf of the Prometheus Awards, thank you and wish you best time with the rest of LonCon. Thank you.